views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are the content creator's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Essex County College. The material and information presented here is for entertainment and informative purposes only. It should not be considered as professional advice or a substitute for seeking professional guidance.
Hey family, what's going on? This is Dr. Akil Khalfani here at Essex County College, and I am the director of the Africana Institute. We are getting ready to have a fly show, so make sure you check us out. But let me tell you where we are. Now, you know where we are. Essex County College in the heart of New Jersey. And so today we're going to have a conversation. I want you to think about that I'm in the living room. We're just hanging out, having a good time. I got a brother and sister here today who are going to share some insights with you. But before we do that, let's talk about where we are and what we're doing. So I've been the director of the Africana Institute for 20 years now. Man, I almost can't believe it. That time has flown by so fast. And not only have I been the director there, but just a professor and doing all kinds of stuff and working hard for the people, transforming lives and finding ways to think differently and to do differently in the world in which we live. So we have this podcast that we're doing here, and it's going to be a fly experience because we're going to have some different folks on, but today we're building on the base of that 20 years. And my 20 years at the college is part of the 25 years of the Africana Institute. Can y'all believe that? The Africana Institute has been around for 25 years. Now, I wasn't the first director. I was just the longest director. The first director was Dr. Lenny Gunther, and he ran it for 5 years. And then so after that, then I took over in 2006. The Africana Institute came into being as a vision of Dr. Yamba. And, it's interesting because in that, Dr. Yamba was from Ghana, and in that experience, he made some connections and had connections he already had. And we had the king of the Asante people came here. Otumfo, he came and he inaugurated the Africana Institute. And so that experience was an amazing experience because, you come with the entourage and everything. It was hundreds of people here for that particular celebration. And I think we're now we're reflecting and building on that. We had another celebration after I was here, and the Institute was 10 years, and we had lots of press. We had everything going on. It was a beautiful experience. And we're just continuing in that vein, opening doors, opening eyes, thinking differently, bringing scholars and performers to the college. And one of the things that we did to bring folks here was, make trips around the globe. So we've gone to Ghana, we went to Cuba, we went to South Africa, all these kinds of things. And of course, every year we celebrate Kwanzaa. We have a pre-Kwanzaa celebration. We have the State of Black Writers, which is coming up in October. We have the African Spirituality Conference that helps us to think about African history, culture from a spiritual perspective. And we look at Isheshe, which is a Yoruba spiritual foundation. We look at Santeria and Lukami, Voodoo and Voodoo. We look at Sangomas, and we have folks participate from Brazil and Cuba and Dominican Republic and Ghana and Senegal, and all over the world. People come and they're participating, sharing their ideas and their practices of how they see themselves spiritually. And before that, we always have a experience with Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. And we've had all kinds of folks come as keynote lecturers for these events. And, so there's a whole experience that the Africana Institute brings to the table. And I've been fortunate and lucky, really, to be the director for the last 20 years. And, now we're starting to think about what does the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years look like? Well, part of that is going to be built on this celebration we have for the 25th anniversary. And that started off, we had one of the kings, the Bamileke king, came from Cameroon to Essex County College. And so we started with the king and we closed with the king. And we got many more kings to come. And those kings actually are you. You are the kings and queens that we're focusing on. And those who have royal status from the continent, we celebrate them and we look at their contributions and thinking about them and ways in which they bring things to the table. And then we find other kings and queens in our neighborhood, and that's how we build on it. So we're getting ready to have somebody who I'm going to share something with and share with you, because I'm going to tell you how I met her first. So listen up.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, I'm going to stop her right there because I want you to just hear her voice. And some of y'all might know that voice, and some of y'all won't. So what you're going to do is you're going to find out the ways in which the voices that we bring to the table will resonate in your heart and in your spirit. And so this beautiful sister, Andrece Brady. Yeah. One of the trips that I took was to Angola, and I just happened to see this sister in Angola in a art studio doing some work, and I said, well, and someone said she's from Newark, New Jersey. I said, what do you mean? What do you mean? I came all the way to Africa, and then I run into this person. So tell them about yourself, sister, who you are, what you do, and what you bring to the table.
Hello. My name is Andrece Brady. I am a visual artist, an art educator, and a curator from the city of Newark. I kind of do a little bit of everything in the realm of art. First and foremost, I am a visual artist. I went to Clark Atlanta University and took half of my classes at Spelman. So HBCU is in my veins. And I'm very, very just pro-Black. I feel like everything that I do is centered around our people and trying to like create avenues and opportunities for them. I had the opportunity to go to Africa, Angola, in 2022 to curate and kind of like organize the artists out there and teach them about the proper ways to format their art, to create proposals, to put their artist bios and all the portfolios together. So through that work, I kind of realized like I actually like curating because it's a way for me to like advocate for artists that often don't advocate from themselves. So in that experience, I kind of learned like, oh, I really enjoy curating because, you know, in my experience as an artist, I've learned a lot and I've had to learn it on my own. But a lot of artists don't really get that opportunity to be represented in spaces. So that's really why it's important for me as a curator and an artist to do what it is that I'm doing. And yeah.
Did you do any curation before you went to Angola?
Did I? I have, but just very like mildly and moderately. It was like curating experiences, not so much art shows, but like when I was in Angola, I got to curate for UNESCO, the European Union. I curated for the Biennale of Angola, and also even met the president. So I was like, oh, I can actually do this. Like I should probably put a little bit more energy into doing this. You got a thing or two for your resume. Yeah, I was like, okay, this is great. And I also saw how it impacted the artists in Angola because they had somebody to advocate for them. Mm-hmm. And then through that, I was able to bring over like 40 pieces of artwork from Africa and had 2 art exhibitions at City Hall, you know, and also curated another experience for other artists to go to Africa. So yeah. Yeah. That's fire. So I'm glad to have you here today and talk about, you know, we had talked maybe a year ago
about doing some stuff here, and you said, well, I'm working on some stuff, and I said, well, come on and let me know when you're ready. And then lo and behold, it kept moving, and you did that exhibition in City Hall. And then over the summer, I guess it was, you say, yeah, well, I got an idea. And then we build it from there. So part of the 25th anniversary of the Africana Institute is going to be celebrating this curation and this artwork. And so then before we bring on this other young king who is a fabulous photographer, give us a hint about where some of this artwork is getting ready to be shown, both at Essex and as part of this event going on in Newark.
Yeah, so this Lens of the Street, this is Bikier's solo exhibition. He's very well known in the city of Newark for his photography. Some people call him like Peter Parker because he just always is capturing moments where it's like, how do you know? Like, how did you know this was happening? For me as an artist, and because I'm from Newark, when I first came back from Newark after college, I was like in the art scene, and I was like, I don't see anybody that's actually from Newark though. And that kind of like lit a fire in me to like really advocate for people that are from the city that often don't have those platforms. And I kind of came across Bikier's Instagram page, and I was like, oh, this is fire. Like, who is this? I reached out to him to have him take some pictures when I was doing a mural, and he just came on the spot, like 10 minutes, and took the pictures, sent them to me. And then that's kind of how we formed our friendship. And I was just looking like, I don't see, like, his artwork needs to be represented, because I was very much involved into the art scene and culture here downtown Newark. But I was like, okay, like, Bikier needs to be here. Like, his work needs to be seen and shown. So Lens of the Street really is like a visual love letter to the city, to show and give honor to people who are often overlooked in the city. And it's also like a space for outsiders to come in and get some better understanding. I think a lot of times people have like a negative view of Newark because of the stereotypes, which oftentimes could like dehumanize people, and we don't look at people as, you know, just normal people. So I think Bikier work really like shines light on that. And also this is happening during, you know, the Newark Arts Festival in the city of Newark. So it's like, it's very important for us to be in that space as Newark artists. And, you know, I just know the whole city is about to come out for this, and I'm really excited.
So before we bring Bikier to the microphone, why don't you play that song again so they know who is being represented here? Because I think that people, you know, need to understand the culture and the vibe and the energy that we bring to the table. And so as they get to hear that, they'll know a little more about who we are and what we're doing. So let that rock for them.
We here.
Oh yeah. What's going on back here? What's going on, brother man? How you doing?
What's up?
Yeah, well, we're not gonna forget New Jersey, because you are going to light up New Jersey with your photography, brother.
Yes, sir.
And we're excited that you're part of this. This is an important experience here at the college, because you're going to get a chance to interact with faculty, with students, and the community, and you'll get to put your spin on the energy that they experience, and then also bring other folks into the college environment. And I think the beauty of that, in part, is that some people are going to get exposed to artwork they haven't seen, and some people are going to get exposed to college that ain't been to college. So all of those things are happening simultaneously. So welcome to the room, brother man. Welcome to the room.
Thank you. Feel good being here.
Yeah. And tell me something. How did you get into photography, man?
Well, two of my friends got killed, so it led me to document, and it just not them being here and not able to actually see them every day like I did, it gave me the inspiration to grab a camera and photograph.
That's powerful. And what about it's one thing to grab a camera, but it's another thing to get the skill side of it up, right? So what was your process in learning how to use that tool to be able to capture? And then the other part is in capturing that those images that, help us to think about what it means in terms of having the eye, because there's a lot of stuff in the lens, but it takes the person with the right eye to find that thing that is amazing or beautiful or shocking or scary. Everybody can't get it. People point cameras, phones and professional cameras at images all the time, but they don't have the eye, right? And so tell us something about your eye and your vision.
Well, I think that it's probably God-given. I don't know how to teach somebody to have an eye for the camera, but I think it was God-given for me in a process that I go through to actually get good at photography. Is just practice. And I wouldn't say that I started off good. I just feel like I was persistent and consistent and stayed at it. And one of my biggest goals, or one of the things that I really wanted to figure out, was my own lane, and I wanted to really photograph things that I particularly liked and things that I felt were important to me. So that gave me the motivation, and I guess throughout practice and consistency, I think that I grew to have an eye.
Yeah. So I think part of doing anything you do, though, is also enjoying it, right?
Absolutely.
You gotta have a love for the things that you do, and that in the end is the thing that reflects in your work, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one of the things too, like you said, doing what you love. As like we're doing this process, like I'm learning so much more things about Bikier because I'm like having to ask questions now. And I think one of the things you said to me that like really stood out was like kind of like the trauma.
Absolutely.
Sometimes like being embedded in you and like your childhood, like you grew up outside. You was like a kid that was always outside. So it's kind of like when you're outside, you seeing things that I think you said like nostalgic for you.
Yeah, some of the things that I seen growing up in Newark is like the fact that Newark changed a lot. Things that I used to see growing up is nostalgic to me. So I like to capture that old feel that I used to feel, and I like to capture things that was once here, things and such as buildings and certain things that I used to identify with that meant something to me as in my childhood. I like to capture those things, and I like to put those on the forefront.
Yeah, I think that sometimes it gives you a chance to reshape things, right? If you think about the nostalgia piece, nostalgia doesn't mean that it is what it was, but it's a reminiscence on what it was, and you've re-kicked it in a certain way.
Facts,
right? And then so that re-kicking means that you both preserved it, but you also are projecting it forward.
Definitely.
Right. So
Definitely.
that's a beautiful thing. Like that shot you did in front of the theater with Newark and the girl walking by. Tell us about they can't see the picture. Give us some insight about the picture. This is the one that's on our advertisement that people are going to find.
This is a Newark sign downtown Newark, off Broad Street, and this was actually during the breast cancer walk. And I seen one of the nurses walking past, actually by herself. And normally when they at the breast cancer walk, they walk in as a collective, group of them. But this lady was walking by herself, and I was able to capture her under the Newark sign. But this is a very vintage building, and I think they're doing reconstruction to this building. But I feel like this is a very important building for the city, and I feel like this sign is something that I always knew, I always seen, so it was kind of like a no-brainer to actually catch it.
You know, it's interesting when I think about when I see your picture and the idea that they're planning to change it, is that what you did was you captured a moment in time, right? And so then if you can imagine 5 years down the line and this building is renovated and it's got colors on the sign and stuff, but you created an aesthetic that is postcard-like, right? Mm. And when you think about that might even be on a postcard with the two of them together, whatever it looks like when it's coming. That would actually be fabulous, right? That if you had your picture, maybe a picture of 50 or 70 years ago of what it looked like originally, and then what it's going to look like in 5 or 10 years. That would be a really kind of a like fascinating
before and after picture.
A fascinating montage. And then just the breast cancer walk part about it talks about the way in which your work and the visions of things in downtown encapsulates moments, right? And that moment is this thing, this texture that you have, this ancient thing, and then this thing that's attacking women, and that you got a woman who's trying to do something about it.
Absolutely.
I think too, like, I like what you said about like the collective. You know, a lot of these, it's just so important to do this work because, like, if you follow anybody that's out there in their living room, if you follow Bikier 220 Hayes, like, you know, like when he drops pictures, it's like, oh my God, that's like the only thing I see. Everybody's sharing it. And what I really love about this picture, and like one of the things that we talk about often is like spaces kind of being gentrified, right? Like gentrification, and how I think they're using art as a way to aid in the gentrification. But this picture is really powerful too, because what you captured in this picture is the proposal for redevelopment. So you see that sign in this photo, which signals to people like things are going to be changing, but it's like you kind of captured it in its essence, but also like while they're still kind of putting out a proposal for something new. And I don't think a lot of people like catch on to that. I didn't even catch on to it until I think I showed somebody else the picture, and they was like, oh my God. So it's like even those little things that, you know, you have to really like look into the photo to really like kind of digest
get the full
the story.
Purpose of the picture.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's important, that we find ways to talk about, understand, and encapsulate the diversity of things, right? So he has pictures that may tell lots of different stories, and we're going to see those in the exhibition. So let's talk a little bit about the exhibition some more, because that's going to be something that's in the gallery, right, at Essex County College on the second floor, and just sharing the dates and stuff. Andrece, why don't you share the dates and everything on the details of that?
All right. So Lens of the Streets will be on view from October 10th, 2025 to February 13th, 2026. And we do have a lot of things in store and planned, and those things will be released. But what you need to know right now is that the opening reception is on October 10th, 2025 from 5 p.m. to 9. So pull up, pop out, bring your friends, bring everybody to see this work. Also, a lot of people in the community are represented in the work, so it's also a avenue for them to like show pride, because a lot of times these stories are just overlooked.
Yeah, right. And then some of the stories, right, that about, you got a segment about basketball, you got a segment about homelessness, you got a segment about different things. Why don't you run down a couple of those so that people learn a little more about what they're looking for?
Okay. So some of the things are kind of pulled directly from like series that are on Instagram, basically like some captions. So one of the pictures you'll see is referencing, remember, the U.S. government put drugs into the community. That's one of the things that you'll see. Another theme is they take away everything, right? Like the concept of ideas of places that we've grown up as children, now being torn down, eradicated. Projects are gone. Like people's whole lives and family legacy kind of live in these spaces. Another issue that we kind of briefly talk about is like also within that is redlining, right? Like how, you know, that's something that you probably could talk about a little bit more than me, but.
Yeah. So the concept of redlining is like just how certain urban communities are being left out based on where they live at. And certain funds come throughout the city from the government that don't particularly reach the inner community. And people that's in these red line communities don't necessarily get all of the opportunities that people that are not in it get. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that that's an important piece that we look at, and we get a sense of how different people experience these things. And I think that, you know, one of the things, now you talk about redlining. I had a friend of mine who was a professor at Drew University, and she did an article. I don't know if she ever turned it into a book or not, but she did an article on, she was a scholar in residence for the Africana Institute maybe in 2007. And she did a article on black gentrifiers. And her take on it was a little different. So her point was that when you talk about gentrification, that actually we all want development in our city. And so sometimes we use the word gentrification a little over loosely because we don't want things to stay dilapidated, run down, you know, infested by other kinds of stuff. And so then are we really anti-development? No, but we want a particular type of development. So I think we need to think about our language and how we talk about that. And what she brought to the table was that black gentrifiers were not a negative imposition because they wanted to bring development to the city that they love. Like you're talking about Newark, like it's a city you love. If we're bringing that kind of care to it, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to be able, it's going to be affordable for everybody, but that we're going to have ways that are trying to make it sustainable for a wider group of folks. And that then that creates a different reality as opposed to just wanting it to stay the same. And, you know, you're looking at pockets of abandoned houses and abandoned lots and trash around. No, we want nice things in our neighborhoods too. So how do we do that? And I think being at the table for the discussion about gentrification is part of the power in that. Maybe a photographic analysis is a place that we can have some discussion about that. In fact, the three of us, we talked about doing a book, and we have to get back to that conversation, looking at photography and sociology and bringing into some space where we can think about what the analysis is of the spaces that you've looked at and come up with some specific pieces that we're going to have that kind of analysis, articulation, and reflection on, right? And
I think, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I mean, I think that is an important piece, right? Like, gentrification isn't all bad, and I think you hit it on the nail. That might not be the actual like language. We do want development in our city, but like you said, it's about like having a seat at the table, to like advocate. I feel like a lot of times it's about inclusion, and where like the people, you can't like go to a community and redevelop it without actually knowing what the people need, you know? So I feel like that's one of the things that a lot of Norkers feel is like these decisions are kind of like being made without our consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like where these, like this conflict kind of comes into play, because people just feel like they're, you know, all that they know have been wiped away. But I think development is good. We should aspire to be better. You know, also abandoned buildings and trash and littering, that's also an eyesore in our community, right? Like we have to do better. But I think just it's about the inclusion part.
And not being left out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, the part about being left out is what a lot of people feel, and that's why there is kind of a knee-jerk response oftentimes to development and gentrification, or a usage of the word gentrification to describe development. And so as we think about a nuanced way to talk about that, you know, I mean, do any of us want to live next door to an abandoned building? Probably not, because abandoned buildings can invite roaches and mice and other kinds of things that you don't have control over, and then it don't look good next to your space. If you want to, because I think also the thing is about energy, right? And if we think about energy, what is the energy like in the space around you? And I think sometimes the energy in our communities are the things that bring about negative reactions and interactions, because there's some studies that talk about trees, for instance, and communities that have lots of trees, that the energy level is different. And maybe it's partially the oxygen, maybe it's probably partially the energy of the tree itself and what it brings to the table, cleansing the air, bringing birds that you hear chirping that you may not hear in an environment where you don't have trees. You know, if it's pollinators, they bring bees to the environment. And so then all these other things that we may not think about that are the outcomes of having different types of things in our neighborhoods are the things we maybe should be having conversations about and thinking about how they impact our community in different kinds of ways. I'm
gonna take that one, and when I'm seeing certain things, I'm not gonna be so critical.
Well, I mean, on one level, I say it's not about not being critical, but it's about being critical differently, right? So we want to be critical about things. I'm a sociologist, so that's what we do. We do a lot of analysis. In our being critical, though, we have to be solution-oriented if we want to bring about change. We could just be complaining, or we could develop solutions to that. And so part of me being in the Africana Institute is to find solutions to different things that may not be in the ways in which I thought about them, but ways in which we can begin to develop them differently. Anything else you want to say about your artwork and where you're going and what you want to do?
I have a lot of nice pieces that you guys can come see. It speaks and shows a different range in photography, from floods to, you know, project buildings to homelessness. Yeah, it's gonna be real nice work for you guys to see. So,
yeah, and we're also working on trying to set some stuff up in the library. So there may be multiple places at the college where there are things that people can look at. And this work is going to be up for a while. So the opening reception is on October the 10th, but the show itself is going to run until the end of February. So there's going to be lots of time and space for people to come by. We're talking with some faculty now, so you can hook up with some students and have some conversations about curation and conversations about photography and even thinking about art installations. I did a installation in the Institute. I think it was 2 years ago now, maybe 3 years ago, where I took the conference room, and over the summer I took everything out and I transformed the conference room into a virtual slave ship. And then we had artifacts all around. We had the body of a replica of a body of somebody who was chained in the middle of the table, and the table looked like a slave ship. And it was too much for some people. I mean, it was really, when you think about installation, that installations are less on the image itself sometimes and more about the whole experience. Right?
I'm actually glad you said that, because we are planning to do an installation, and this is going to be my last little freebie. You got to come to the show and just see it. But we are going to be doing an installation of a RIP wall, which I'm actually really excited about, kind of honoring some important people in the city, from police officers to just community members. So I'm looking really forward to that. The vision that I have in my head is it's going to be awesome. But that is a little sneak peek. So you have to get here to actually see it, though. You got to see the installation.
And as Andrece mentioned, this is going to be part of a larger, huge set of galleries and displays in the city of Newark. I don't know how many are participating this year. Do you know?
I do not know.
I know that when we did this several times. In fact, Jerry Gant was one of our artists. Okay. When we had the gallery crawl before the Newark. It was called the Newark Arts Council.
Open Doors.
It was called Open Doors. It was the Newark Arts Council. Then what is it? The Newark Arts Council now?
No.
What is it?
It's Newark Arts now.
Newark Arts. Mm-hmm. So it was the Newark Arts Council back then, and there was 50 galleries sometimes across the city. So I'm imagining they're still going to have a wide array of places. But the place that they don't want to miss
is this place.
ECC,
not at all.
Which is right here on the corner of West Market and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And we have so much amazing stuff for you all to see. So you don't want to miss this opportunity. And before we go, we want to give y'all some closing words from the two of you, and we're gonna close out the way we came in. Bikier, any closing thoughts?
I'm just looking forward to seeing who come out, man. And like Andrece said, this is a love letter to the city from me. All of the things that I truly care about and that other people can relate to, that's from the city. I care about this city so much, and I just want y'all to enjoy when y'all come out.
Yes, well, I'm just encouraging everybody to pull up, pop out, come. We have a lot of things in store. We're doing a murder mystery night. We're going to be doing some workshops on campus, and we're also going to be doing some more podcasts. So stay tuned. If you need to, you can follow me on Instagram. It's QOLDEN1_. That's where you'll find more information. And Bikier, you want to tell them your Instagram?
Mine's is 220 Hayes, 220 BHAYEZZ.
Yeah. Okay,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
And then they can always get us. Oh, okay. Yeah, check them out. Check both of them out. And you can always be in touch with us at the Africana Institute at Africana, AFRICANA, at Essex, ESSEX.edu, or just come on through. We're here every Monday through Thursday. And if I'm not here, Miss Akiba will be here, and she always take good care of the people. So come on through. And, this podcast is just the beginning of something great that you're a part of. And we want you to come in and help us to make it be all that it's got to be. Mm-hmm. And you know where you're from, right? I used to work at Burger King, but after taking orders, I used to take the path to Latin. All right. And if you want to take something from Burger King, buy something healthy instead. So we coming to you right from the heart of New Jersey. In the background, that's Queen Latifah. This is Dr. Akil Khalfani, the director of the Africana Institute and professor of sociology and African studies. And I'm here with my friends, Brother Bikier, who is the photographer extraordinaire, and Sister Andrece, who is now the curator extraordinaire. But she didn't say she was a painter too. She let that slip, so I figured I'd bring that in for her.
I'm an artist.
And she did some murals and stuff. So I don't know why she just didn't say all of that, but I had to slide it in there for you.
Thank you.
All right, until next time, people, we'll check with you, and stay tuned for great work. You can also reach us at 973-877-3140, 973-877-3140, the Africana Institute. Peace.
Peace out, man.
Peace.
This has been a production of the Essex County College Podcast Club. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.